like Phoenix will be waiving Chris Paul, making him eligible to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. That certainly will bring about a lot of contenders, kind of knocking at the door of Chris Paul. Financials will certainly be evaluated, but if he's being waived by Phoenix, how low does Chris Paul go with signing with another team in the offseason?
To me, that means the asking price was just too much for an aging point guard. What was the price tag? 30 million. And with that, they saved money on the books because this offseason is all about retooling and getting more depth from the bench. I still think they're going to move Aiton. I think that's the
Wow.
next move. That's the next move. Watch out. Watch out. Chris Paul could go on a minimum deal anywhere. Anywhere. Because
Yeah, yeah, yep,
I don't
yep,
think
I
he
agree.
needs the money. I don't think he needs the money.
Nope.
I think he's going to a contender. It
That's
could
why I
be.
said it's going to be interesting to see how low he goes with
Uh,
the contract he ends up accepting,
it could be
because
the.
other teams are definitely going to give him bigger offers the worse they are, you know?
Where could he go? The Lakers.
He can go to the Lakers on
The,
a veterans
uh,
mid-level exception, which means that the Lakers would have an opportunity to go through free agency, going through every free agent. And as long as Chris Paul doesn't sign with anybody, he could sign with LA for a veterans minimum $5 million and yet still be recouping that money from Phoenix.
where else could he go? Who needs a point guard? The Clippers. The
The Celtics,
Celtics. The Celtics.
Golden State could use
Oh,
somebody off the bench
off
as
the
well,
bench.
especially if they think about dangling Jordan Poole. You can bring in a guy like CP to kind of help alleviate some of the bench minutes.
And my thing with Chris, he's done it all. He's been on bottom teams, made them relevant. He's been on great teams, taking them on deep playoff run. Nobody will bat an eyelash if he goes on a team that's already loaded. No
But
one
the
will.
thing about today's NBA, there's not a lot of teams that are loaded. Adding Chris Paul, I think, to any team still does not really push any team over the marker to be like one of those super teams, i.e., the Warriors or the Heat.
I
Like
mean,
I don't think that there's one team out there that he joins and it puts him over the top. And that's mainly because of the issues you brought up, his injury
his injury
concerns,
concerns, deep
age.
playoff runs, age. But on a team like, let's see, a team that already has a good, the Bucks, a team like the Bucks, he
Bucks.
wouldn't. The stress on his body, he would be able to take nights off. They wouldn't be able to load manage him throughout the season, throughout the entire year, and come playoff times, just ramp it up. And when Drew Holiday comes, goes on the bench, or when Drew Holiday gets hurt, you got Chris Paul, a diming and spoon feeding Giannis and Middleton and Brook Lopez. This could be bad news for the league because Chris Paul is still very good, and
I don't
depending
think
on
th-
where he ends
I think
up,
this is I don't think that this is that big. I don't agree. I think
mhm,
you were right before. I think Chris Paul, like I think he's definitely still a good player, but
yeah.
you could name anybody. Name any team. The Bucks, it still doesn't move the needle to like, oh, they're presumptively going to win the finals, you
my
know?
my problem with Chris Paul on the Suns was we need 30 minutes out of you. Like we were so thin. We needed Chris Paul to be able to play long, to play. You know what I mean? Long stretches. If he goes on, the right Golden State, let's say, they won't. The workload won't be like that. Workload won't be like that. On a night where he's doing great, yeah, sure, you'll play 35 minutes tonight. You killing it. But most nights, 15, 20 minutes, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, and like I said, any team that gets him, they're definitely getting an addition at the point guard position. But if you're looking for Chris Paul to be the reason why you won the championship, there's few teams out there like that. Like I can
Hmm.
only name Boston and like you said, Milwaukee, who already have established bona fide young superstars who are
Hmm.
already asked to take the mantle. If
Hmm.
he goes to LA, I don't think it really does much. We still worry about LeBron in the clutch. We still worry about AD in the clutch. Those situations still don't change, but this to me is big news with Phoenix because I do think that it takes off the valve pressure of winning a championship next year, which is a good thing for a guy like KD
Chris
at this point
Paul.
in his career.
Chris Paul has told Chris Hines, He plans to play several more years, and he is eager to help a team contend for a championship.
Yep. And I agree with
Oof.
Chris Paul. He should play for several more years, especially with the role that he's going to be taking on with any new team, winning,
Hmm.
especially a championship team. But dude, I would love to see him in Boston, bro.
I mean,
I would
that's
love to see him in Boston. I would love for us to push for another point guard. You know, we're already getting rid of Peyton Pritchard per
you got
reports.
three. You guys are greedy. You got 3 point guards that could start on any team in the NBA. What do you
I
need a
mean, to
fourth one
me, if there
for?
was ever, if there was any team in the NBA that was ready to push the needle to be the presumptive favorite, I would think it would be Boston, right?
um, I think I might sound insane. He goes back to OKC. He loved it there. He loved it there. A lot of the guys that he mentored and got, help improve are still there. And obviously they're basically a playoff team now, but they don't necessarily need a superstar, so a veteran voice. If I'm OKC, I'm getting on that phone right now. I'm getting on that phone right now. Get Chris Paul back in that locker room.
Yeah, and I don't think it would. It's just a matter of what's in the head of Chris Paul. You know, is he
Hmm.
really hell bent on winning, or will a sexy contract from Oklahoma City,
Hmm.
which they can do, give him 20, 25 million
Absolutely.
dollars
Absolutely.
and just compete for a championship instead?
Hmm. With some nice young players, you got Shy, you got Chet, Lou Dort. That team has made strides, and all of it was jump started by Chris Paul. Jump
And
started by
hey,
Chris
man,
Paul.
like I said, Boston, we could use a point guard. That's all I'm gonna say. We could use a point guard. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to say we need to get rid of somebody. The only guy I feel like we need to get rid of is guys that don't want to be there, and it starts with Peyton Pritchard. And if we're gonna be getting rid of him, why can't or cannot Chris Paul come and sign and maybe start at the point guard
He
position?
is not gonna start.
Maybe come off the bench. But
Stop
I
it.
feel like this is exactly what we need, man. We need more of that kind of point guard leadership.
Hmm.
But I'm
Imagine
being greedy.
in
I'm
the
being
fourth quarter.
greedy.
Imagine Chris Paul telling Tatum, get on the block. Like,
Setting them up. Yeah,
yeah.
calling up Robert Williams. Yeah, come set me one.
Yeah, pick and roll. Robin Williams dunks it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, there's the news. I guess there's always seems to be some breaking news in this NBA Finals roundabout. We
Gotta
got
love it.
Kyrie, we got John Morant sometimes, but today
Listen,
Chris Paul will be waived by the Phoenix
I
Suns.
feel like this is setting off the off season on the right foot. It's about to be an exciting off season. Where is Chris Paul gonna land? What are the Suns gonna do next? Stay tuned.
Who knows, man? Who knows?